Okay, and we are live.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. This is the Town of Somers Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. The date is December 15th, 2020. Denise, I would ask you to please take the roll.
Mr. Carpenetto,
Here.
Ms. DiPolito,
Here.
Mr. Gio,
Here.
Mr. Harden,
Here.
Mr. Newman,
Here.
Chairman Canistra,
Here.
Mr. Lansky.
Here.
Thank
Oh.
you.
Great. Hello, Bart. How are you?
Good. Good evening.
Good. Paul, can we do the pledge? Are you able to put the
Yes.
flag up on the screen?
Yes.
Okay. I'd ask everybody if we could please do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
I
allegiance
pledge allegiance
to
to
the
the
flag
flag
of
The United States of America
and
and
to
to
the
the
republic
republic for which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands
One
one
nation.
nation, under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty
with
and
liberty
justice
and justice
justice
for all.
Oh.
Thank you very much, everybody. Well, we're going to go right to the agenda. We have two items this evening. The first is that of Frank and Dorella Corporale. This is an application for an area variance to keep 6 existing chickens in an R10 residential district at 6 Wright Road, Yorktown Heights. And I believe someone is here to represent the applicant this evening.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Hello, Mrs. Caporale. Am I saying that name right? Caporale?
Upper Alley.
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay, thank you.
How are you? Good evening.
Good evening. Good
Good
evening.
evening.
So could you briefly describe the application you brought before us this evening?
We've had 6 chickens for about 5.5 years on our property. We intend to keep the chickens on our property if we could. We also have, we plan on moving. So when we move, we're going to be taking the initiative and not taking the chickens with us. So they won't be here for an extended period of time. We don't use the chickens for any type of money-making enterprise as selling the eggs. We don't, sell the chickens. We've had 6 chickens for 5.5 years. Some people have dogs and cats. They're like our pets. We feed them, we take care of them, we give them water,
Eat those eggs.
I'm sorry?
And you eat those eggs.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Now the chickens, there's 6 of them. I assume that these are all hens and there's no roosters here?
No, there's no roosters. Absolutely not. Mm-mm.
Roosters are specifically prohibited under the code. So, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, no, just 6 chickens.
Okay. Now, as a requirement in the town, you're supposed to have 40,000 square feet of property.
Okay.
What is the size of your property? From the map I'm looking at, and from what I've been told, it's a little under 10,000 square feet.
Well, I was talking to Denise, who was quite helpful. Thank you, Denise. Hi, Denise. Nice
Hi, you're very welcome.
to see the face and put the face with the voice.
Yes,
I measured, let's see, I measured from the front of the property, like on Wright Road. We have a high hedge. So if you measure from Wright Road to where the chicken coop is, it's 119 feet.
Okay. The site plan I'm looking at pretty much looks like your property dimensions are 100 by approximately 100. So I'm assuming we're right around 10,000 square feet. So because I think we have 2 issues here, if I can kind of put this in a nutshell. One is you're looking for a variance to keep 6 chickens on a property of about 10,000 square feet where 40,000 is required. And also the distance from the property line. You're supposed to be, all structures are supposed to be 25 feet off the property line in this type of a district. From the pictures I look at of the chicken coops, they seem to be right next to your property line. So could you explain to me how close it is to the property line?
Well, from the front, like I said, the front of the house.
Yeah, it's not the front of the house. No, it's measured to your nearest property line. That could be the
Well,
back,
to
the
the,
side.
it's to the fence. And I left Denise also a survey, and I indicated that there's parcel 1 and parcel 2 of my property. The parcel 2, on the upper left-hand corner, I indicated where the coop is. And it is where it is. I mean, it's not like, it's to the left of my property in the corner.
Right, so it's right on the property line or very close to the property line.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, that's what it looks like from from the pictures that I see, because I see a fence that looks like right next to the property. I mean, a fence is right next to the chicken coop, so I assume the fence is on your property line.
It is on our property line. I don't know if it's our fence.
Okay, but it divides your property from the neighbor's property.
Yes.
Okay. And then it looks like one side of the chicken coop has a fence, and then the other side, it looks like there may be some kind of foliage or shrubs. That's what I'm looking at in the picture?
Oh, we planted those.
Okay, so it looks like it's in the corner there of your property.
Yes.
Okay.
Chairman?
Also, I dropped off a copy of my land survey that I got when I closed on the property, and it looks like that we're on a double lot. So I know, Denise, and you've indicated it's 40,000 feet or whatever it is, but when we bought this property, we bought it due to the fact that, you know, it was on a double lot, and potentially we were looking to perhaps build another house on the property. We never looked into it because we're not going to be doing it anymore. But
All right,
let's show two
we have a
parcels.
copy of this. We have a copy of the survey. So, yeah. Okay. You mentioned something about moving. Are you going to be moving soon with the chickens, or what's?
Oh, no, the chickens will not be coming with us. But I sent Denise a copy of the listing. I mean, you can go online and.
Oh, the chickens are not going with you.
No.
Where are the chickens going? You're just going to give them up?
In a
Hang on. What? Oh, no, we're going to take the chickens with us.
Oh, you are taking them with you? Oh, okay. I thought you said they weren't going with you.
No,
I did
no. According to my husband, we're going to be bringing them. Está cheap.
Okay. Okay.
Now, wait, I'm a little confused here. You plan on moving and you plan on taking the chickens with you. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so when do you plan on moving? Is it in the very near future, or is it?
Well, our house is on the market, and I've also put in the packet that I sent to or left for Denise a copy of my listing that, you know, that shows that the house is on the market and we are getting activity.
Can I ask what prompted this application? Was the building inspector involved?
Well, I got a notification in the mail, a second notification in the mail that somebody, I guess, called the zoning department and complained about my chickens after having my chickens here for almost 6 years.
I got a call from somebody who I have to assume lives nearby. I don't know who it is. And it was and the question was asked, you know, are you allowed to have chickens? You know, my neighbor has chickens, or no, they didn't say my neighbor has chickens. They gave me your address. 6 Wright Road has chickens. Are they allowed to have chickens? And then that prompted further research. The lot's like 9,700 and some odd square feet. And that, you know, led to a letter to the Caporellis.
Okay, so we have three. There's 3 issues here. We have a side yard variance, a rear yard variance. They appear from the pictures to be too close to the side and the rear. And then we also have the issue of no chickens in R10.
I have a question. Tom, or Chairman, or maybe our inspector, Tom, why is this a structure with setback issues? It looks like a fence. It looks like a fence which is 6 foot or less, which is not a structure. Are those little huts in there a structure?
It's a what?
Well,
Well,
it would be considered.
the chicken is housed in a 10 by 10 kennel. It's not a structure.
Well, it's a question, I'm sorry, ma'am, it's a question for the inspector.
The enclosure is considered housing for the chickens, which is required under the code. And the housing for the chickens needs to be set back 25 feet from the property line.
Okay, so it doesn't fall under the typical, it's a structure analysis, it's a specialty
No.
thing with animals.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that answer. I'm sorry to cut you off. I didn't understand why we were talking about setbacks, but now I do.
Any other comments from the board before I take this to the public? I'd like to hear what people in the public have to say about this, but any comments of the applicant from the board right now?
Yes, I'm a little, I'd like to have something cleared up. The house is on the market as we do in the Zoom meeting?
Yep.
Yes, yes. And also another point that I'd like to make, if I could, there's quite a few people in Shenorock that have chickens like I do, so I'm.
Okay, do you have any potential buyers at this present time?
No, I don't have any offers as I sit here talking to you, no. But it
Okay,
is
so
actively on the market.
I'll rephrase this. How long has the house been on the market for?
Half a year, and I think it was about, what, 8 months?
Okay.
Andrew Cuomo shut us realtors down for half a year due to COVID. We weren't able to do anything and show and etc. But so the house has been on the market about 8 months or so. But my question to you is, driving around Shenorock, I've also seen other residents that have chickens as well. Are they, I mean.
So, Mrs. Caparelli, I explained to you that, we don't drive around looking for people who are in violation. We respond to, unless it's a dangerous situation, we respond to, complaints, concerns, questions that come into my office. And that is how this happened. And once it's brought to our attention and the code enforcement officer, agrees with the situation, then, we deal with it.
Okay.
We take things on an application by application basis. If other individuals have chickens on a property less than 40,000 square feet and do not have the required variance, they could be before us for the board to, make a decision as to how we're going to proceed. So, but your case is before us, not other cases, and other cases may come before us, but your situation is what we're dealing with right now. So,
Okay.
Let me ask you this, Mrs. Corporale, if you move, are you moving outside of Somers or are you staying within the town? Because keep in mind, if you move the chickens to another 10,000 square foot parcel, you're going to have the same issue.
We're looking to stay within Somers.
Okay. So, you know the rules on chickens now, so just be aware of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Any other board members have comments at this time or questions?
I just have a comment. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
My comment is that 10,000 square feet versus 40,000 square feet is truly substantial. And in general, I like the idea of chickens, and I'm in favor of the whole back to nature thing. I worry about that kind of precedent in these type of neighborhoods. I think the code was set up so that you would have some space and the chickens wouldn't bother your neighbors. And the answer to Mr. Newman's question suggests that these chickens do bother somebody, and it wasn't intended for this type of neighborhood. And so that's just, and this is nothing to do with applicant. You seem like lovely people, and I'd be happy to have you as my neighbors. I just, looking at it from a code perspective, I don't think this is the intention of the code. So that's all.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I think of is that, if we had 6 chickens on every 10,000 square foot parcel on a 1 acre parcel, you'd have 24 chickens, it gets a lot, and there may be, noise, there may be odor issues, whatever. So, I mean, I think it's something we have to think about, but we'll listen to everybody. Melissa, I think you wanted to say something in regard to this?
No, I agree with your comments. My question was with regarding the parcels. Parcel 1 and parcel 2 are merged for purposes of the 10,000 square footage. That's correct, right? So
Yeah,
we don't
they
have
really have
any
6
extra square
chickens on
footage.
5,000 square feet.
Yeah, each parcel is 5,000, so combined they're 10, right?
Combined, they're 10. So we're looking at 2 parcels that are just 10,000. And I agree. I mean, the code says none in that R10, and there may be people who buy into those areas with the expectation that they won't have farm animals residing next to them.
Right, right.
The survey indicates it's one parcel.
Okay. It's listed as parcel 1 and 2, but it doesn't really matter. This is an
It might be. I think it's lot 75 and lot 76, but they're combined to make one parcel.
right.
Okay, thank you, Tom.
All right. Any other comments from the board? We can come back to board comments also. I'd like to go out to the public though. Any other comments from the board right now or? No?
I'm good.
Okay, why don't we put this out to the public? I'd like to hear anybody who's online with us now. Certainly, we'd like to hear from you in regard to this application. If anybody is out there in the public watching us, you can call in and, you can be heard. This is a public meeting, so we want to solicit comments and opinions from the neighbors or any interested party. So, Paul, if you could just put the phone numbers out there for whoever might want to call in, and then also we'll go online. And we'll talk to people who are online with us now. Anybody would like to speak in regard to this application?
All right, Dreas, just go ahead and screen share the phone numbers on your side, which is on the desktop, please.
Stand by 1 second.
Sure.
All right, Dreas, just pull up screen share, and then it's on the desktop. There's a file on the desktop right there. We have nobody trying to get in as of now, Chairman.
Okay.
Hang on 1 second. I'm not seeing it. I can see share screen.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any
Green
phone.
arrow on share screen.
Yeah,
Right, come here.
open up the file
here.
on the
Get
desktop.
your glasses, get your glasses. Get your
Locate
glasses.
the file on the
Get your
desktop
glasses
and
on you.
open it up.
Get 'em here.
Let me just look
Whose
here.
phone number is this?
The only thing on the
Is this
desktop is
number-
the Somer ZBA guide.
That's exactly it. You got to share that, please.
Okay.
Double click on that, it'll open, and then share screen with that.
Let me just see how I can share screen with this. Let me go back to that. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. Bear with me. Okay, 1 second here. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes, perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. So anyone from the public is more than welcome to call in using one of these numbers if you would like to be heard in regard to this application. So is there anybody online with us right now who would like to speak in regard to this application? No, no comments from anyone? If you have your microphone muted, please unmute your microphone so you can speak with us.
I don't have anybody as of now, Chairman.
Okay. Okay, so we might as well take the numbers down at this point in time so we can see everyone again. Okay. Doesn't look like we have anybody from the public regarding any comments. Any further comments from the board members?
Yes.
Suggestions? Yep, sure.
Tommy, did they give you something in writing as far as a complaint, or is it just a verbal?
It's just a phone call, correct, Denise?
Yes, it was just a phone call.
Nothing in writing?
No.
Okay.
99.9% of the time, we never get anything in writing.
Yeah.
Denise, do you know if the complaint was noise related, odor related? Do you know what?
The question was simply, 6 Wright Road has chickens. Are they allowed to have chickens at that address?
Okay. Okay, so there's
So
no.
really, on overall, no complaint. It was just an inquiry.
Well, when I told them after I did the research that I had to do that they were not eligible based on the size of their property, then the question was, well, what are you going to do about it?
Oh,
Right.
Yeah, it wasn't an okay, thank you. And that's when we sent a letter to the Caparellis.
Right.
thank you.
So as indicated, we have basically 2 issues. One is the property size should be 40,000 square feet or more. It's, according to the notes here, 9,753 square feet. Let's say 10,000 to round it off. And then also the chicken coop has to be, or should be, more than 25 feet from the property line. It says on this page 19 feet exist. I can't believe there's more than.
No,
2
it's
or 3
100,
feet.
it's 119 feet from the front of the house to the chicken
That's
coop.
not the line. That's not the line we measure. We measure from the chicken coop to your nearest property line. And since this is in a corner, it's a variance for a side yard and a front and a rear yard. So this chicken coop is, probably within 1 or 2 feet of the property line, it looks like to me. So once again, a very significant variance here.
Well, they're asking for a 6-foot variance on the chicken coop.
They're
Well-
saying-
So I assume they're not moving the chicken coop. You could move the chicken coop if you had.
But
to
I'm
move
not
it.
sure that
Well, let me ask,
I don't believe 6
may I
feet
pose
is
a question?
accurate. Based on the pictures, well, just 1 minute, ma'am. Based on the pictures I see, I don't think you have to have 25 feet from the property line, the closest property line, not from the front road. So I can't believe you have more than 1 or 2 feet here. And 25 is required. So, I mean, does somebody else see something different than me?
I don't have any pictures. All I got is a survey map.
I got a survey map and it just has an arrow to the upper left-hand corner and somebody wrote in coop.
Correct.
Right, and then I
So I don't know where the
emailed,
coop is.
last week I emailed you all pictures.
Yes, I
After
have.
the after the packets went out, I emailed all of this additional information as an attachment.
All right, I know that's a small picture, but
Okay, there we go.
that shows you the chicken coop, and you see the fence to the right-hand side
Yes.
and the shrubbery right behind it. And let me show you one other picture. I'm sorry, this is small, but I guess it'll work.
No, it works perfectly fine.
All right, and you see that fence is right there. So it appears to be right in the corner of the property. So
Gotcha.
to me, it looks like it straddles, it's in the corner.
Thank you.
It's in the corner of the property, upper left-hand corner of the property. It is not a structure. It's a 10 by 10 kennel. And if what I'm going to ask at this time is if I need to move the 10 by 10 kennel that I have my chickens in, I'm willing to do that. I'm also willing to apply for a variance and do what I need to do in order to keep the chickens that I already have, if I could.
This is your variance application right now. So that's what we're trying to decide what to do here.
My inclination, I mean, without, I don't know that we need to get too far into setbacks in terms of where my thinking is. I would not be inclined to grant the variance based on the size of the lot. Therefore, the setbacks wouldn't necessarily be an issue as far as my thinking goes, particularly in light of the fact that there was a phone call that appears to be the nature of a complaint. And in light of the fact that the applicant is planning to move, I don't know what would, if we did not grant this variance, I imagine, I don't know if there's what the rule is on how much time they would have to cure the violation, but I'd certainly be inclined, given in light of their moving, perhaps a certain amount of time could be given, and this wouldn't be an issue at all.
I agree with that one.
So do I.
Yeah, I in my opinion, I think that's a reasonable approach. I mean, if we were to grant this variance, then what are we saying? That anybody with a 9,700 square foot piece of property can have 6 chickens? You know, so, yeah, and that's really in violation. It's strictly in violation of the code. You know, if you had 38,000 square feet on the property, you know, well, then maybe I could see something different. And then the question would be, Tom, you know, this is to the building inspector. Tom, if we decline this application, what kind of a time frame is the applicant required to comply? I mean, can we give a time frame by which we would expect compliance, giving them some time to possibly sell the house or move?
If the board were to decline the application, the applicant would get a notice of violation with a 30-day time frame in which to remedy.
Would I be able to move the 10 by?
Chicken. What about if you just move the chicken?
Would I be able to move the 10 by 10 kennel from where it is to another part of my property to make it compliant in order to keep my chickens?
Well,
That's not what we're arguing about. We're arguing about having chickens.
On this size property.
That's a secondary issue.
Right.
Right.
Where your coop is a secondary issue. But
Tom, can we extend the time of compliance past the 30 days?
Not that I'm aware of.
I have a question for Denise. What you sent to us, thank you for the 2014 meeting minutes. That was a bigger property, so I see that it's easy to distinguish. My question is, that was an application for a special exception use permit. How does that play into it?
So if you want more than 6 chickens, it's a special exception use permit.
Okay, so this applicant only wants the 6 chickens, so we're only dealing with a variance.
6 chickens is primary to keep the 6 chickens.
Well, if I have to minimize or reduce the number, I will do that as well. I'd like to work with all of you in order to keep my chickens until I'm living
My
here.
question to one more follow-up question is, the special exception use permit has a timeline on it, does it not?
Yes, it does.
So if this applicant applied for a special exception use permit, could we put a timeline on that outside of the typical timeline if we wanted to say give her 6 months? If this application were revised, that would give her time to sell and move and.
I'm not sure that's the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it is either. I'm just talking out
Tommy,
loud.
I would defer that to Tommy.
Yeah,
I'd have to look into that, but I'm inclined to say it, without looking into it, that it's not an option.
Yeah, I mean, generally, a special exception use permit is something that's permitted by the code with permission, with a permit. And this is, I think, technically not permitted by the code. So I don't think we can do that. It's like accessory apartments.
Yeah.
Permitted by the code with a permit. Yeah, and this is not permitted. This is just not allowed, so to speak. Yeah.
I understand and agree. I was just looking to give her a little time if there was a good workaround, but I don't I agree with the board. I don't necessarily see it, but you know, if there was a creative way to give her a few months, you know,
Would I be
it's
able
coming on a whim.
to reduce, would I be able to reduce the number of chickens that I have and work with you all in order to keep them from now until the time that we're here?
You know, the issue is, you're supposed to have 40,000 square feet or more property for chickens. You know, that's what the code says. And so that's the problem we find ourselves in. You know, we grant variances from the code, but usually those variances are not substantial. You know, like I said, if you had 38,000 square feet, might we grant that? You know, possibly. That would be a much more likely, but you're looking at not even having a quarter of the required property, you know? So I can certainly understand the other board members' positions on this, that it's a substantial variance. And, you know, and putting aside not even the setback issue.
You know, I will say this is a very tough decision. I know it's going to be for myself and probably other board members. Again, it comes down to have chickens, you need 40,000 square feet. You do not have that. You roughly have under 10,000 square feet. Your house is on the market. In some ways, one part of me says, you know, can we go for the 30 days with the intention of the house going to be on the market? And if the house does have a signed contract in that period of time, or a potential buyer in that time, could we extend that period of time till the house is closed? And then you're going to have to reapply wherever you go in Somers.
I don't think we have the ability to extend the 30 days.
We don't, but there's only one thing we could possibly do is put this over to another meeting.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that. Maybe we could just put this over. Say, we're awfully sorry we couldn't come to a decision tonight. We've decided to put you over. So that buys you another 30 days.
That buys you 30 days.
But
30
the
days.
house has been on the market for 6 months already, guys. That's
Right, and we've also been shut down as realtors for half a year due to COVID.
That's right.
Per our governor, so we were not able to do anything. No open houses, no showings, nothing.
and who knows? He might do that again.
I hope not.
Hey, Tom, what would be the, if within 30 days, if the application is denied, there's 30 days to cure. If that's not met, what's the next step?
Then they get a court date.
Court appearance ticket,
Court
yeah.
appearance ticket.
For
I
non-compliance.
can't, I'm a realtor. Actually, I'm the listing agent of my property. I cannot promise that in 30 days, we're gonna have either an accepted offer or signed contracts on the property. Typically, when it's the holiday season, like Hanukkah and Christmas, and the new year coming through, it does slow down a little bit, and people don't really focus on selling a house and buying a house. So I don't know, and I can't say that we're gonna have an accepted offer or anything tangible in 30 days on this property. But I am trying to sell it, and I'm doing, trying to do my best.
Yeah, and we're just trying to find some ways to,
We were trying to find some wiggle room.
Well, I'm in favor of doing a carryover. As long as, if there's any other complaints, then we address them next month.
Right.
One thing she has in her favor is the courts have pretty much closed down.
Right.
My local court appearances have been adjourned, some without date. Some of them have on request, can be virtual. So there may be a lack of enforcement by the court system, which may give her some time. But
and with regard to penalties, the court may.
This is not typically something where they steep penalties on it. If the justice is going to listen to the building department, and if this is cured, she can probably adjourn it at the court. And if it's cured, when they go back, the court will listen to the building department. So the fees should be nominal. It really only becomes a problem if somebody doesn't listen to the town prosecutor who's talking to the building department. And everybody understands where this is, I guess. I don't see a way, I was trying to think outside the box. I haven't really seen it.
I wish there was more of a solid type of like a noise issue or a odor issue, something like that, But that's not the case. The only problem is that somebody asked if you could have chickens, not that they smell and make a noise as roosters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
I think we're all trying to find an answer to the lady's challenge. I don't know that the answer is on a table yet. The only answer we've come up with is postponement, which is a possibility.
I mean, if we were to give, if we were to postpone this to next meeting to make a final decision on it, you would have 30 days plus another 30 days. You'd have 60 days to resolve the chicken issue before you get,
Are we meeting in January?
a court appearance. Yeah, we do. We are
We
scheduled
are.
to meet in January.
We are. We have
Okay.
somebody on the app. We have possibly 2 applicants, definitely 1 at this point.
Yeah, our meeting will
Okay.
be held January 19th. So, yeah.
There could be a major snowstorm then.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, but this is virtual. They don't care about storms.
Oh, well.
if we have
We're like the kids in school.
we have
There
a
are no
reasonable
snow days.
we have a reasonable reason to postpone that we could present, maybe that's okay. I'm not all that comfortable with it. We did have a complaint. I know it wasn't an explicit complaint, but it sounds a lot like a complaint to me.
And they did ask me, when this application was going before the zoning board, and I do expect a phone call in the morning.
So while I'd like to be helpful, I'm not sure that postponing without a more valid reason to do so is appropriate. And I don't, but then again, to Bart's point, I don't know that 30 days in the scheme of things is going to make a difference. I think, like we said, by the time this played itself out, it may well be cured by the time it played itself out with a violation. And I don't know how quickly we get to those, and then through the courts. So if I was the person that made the complaint, I would expect this to be voted on tonight.
My opinion is, I think that if we're going to carry over, there should be a basis. I think we're pretty much delaying the inevitable without real justification. I'm inclined just to vote.
Bill, Bart, Ron, what do you guys think? Arnie?
I've, again, very mixed feelings. I mean, I'd like to postpone it, but based on the other board members, there's really no reason to carry it over.
Right.
Since the house is on the market. Again, there's no odors,
Even if
no
the house
noise
wasn't on
complaints.
the market.
It's just an inquiry whether or not there's chickens.
Right.
Yeah. I'm with Tom and Melissa. Frankly, there's an expectation that there's a rule of law that people buy houses, and that if something's wrong and we don't do anything, then everybody in the neighborhood can do something outside of the zoning code, and there's and we're soft on that, and I am empathetic, and I know these birds have been there a while, but I'm with Tom and Melissa. I don't see a good justification, and I searched for one, and I don't see it.
Okay.
As an old chicken farmer, I'll tell you, those chickens, if you've had them for 5.5 years, are pretty much through their life. Now, obviously, they become pets. So that's a whole different bag of worms. But as chickens, laying eggs, they've just about finished their run.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And Ron, what do you think about this, Ron?
I'm thinking that that it's a very a substantial variance. And you can't have chickens on, 10,000 square feet.
Right.
That's the only real answer that I can come up with. And I happen to know Mr. Corporale. They're very nice people, but things have to be done the right way.
Right, I understand. Okay, any further comments from the board at this time? Mrs. Corporale, do you have anything further you'd like to say at this point in time before the board goes to a
Yeah,
vote?
actually, I would like to do what I can along with my husband to keep my chickens until we sell the property. They're not, as I stated earlier, we don't use to, as any money-making enterprise. We use them as pets. We, clean their 10 by 10 kennel. We feed them. We make sure that, they get, their kennel gets maintained. So there's no odor problem, no, noise problem. We are law-abiding citizens. We pay our taxes. We go to work every day. We just, the only thing we want to do is keep the chickens that we've had for almost 6 years. If I need to reduce the chicken count, I will reduce the chicken count. The thing is, I hate to see that 10 by 10 kennel that we have on our property empty. I've grown to become affectionate to them because, it's not only, oh, let's go get the eggs, but it's also, let's go see, what they're doing. They're like humans, they know when to go to bed. They know when to, So yeah, I've grown attached to them. I've grown affectionate towards them. And my son has also, he doesn't have a dog. He doesn't have a cat. As a matter of fact, today he was home. He came home and he went to get the eggs. And that's what he looks forward to. So, I feel badly that, there might be a consideration that we would have to get rid of our chickens. And, I would feel badly because, he likes taking care of his chickens. He likes coming home and maintaining his, the kennel. He likes coming home and picking up the eggs and saying, oh, we have so much eggs today. They're his pets. And I know that, some of you think that this is a little bit off, but it's not because, he's grown attached to them as well after 6 years. Just like people grow attached to dogs. And when you have to put down a dog, you get a little upset. I would be upset, and I'm sure he would be upset, and my husband would be upset because they're, as I said, our pets. And they've become part of our family.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? who speak?
Unfortunately, the rules and regulations don't make room for your pets. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Any other comments from board members before we go to vote on this? Anything else? to
No,
say?
I'm good.
Okay.
Is there any way that I can go to court with this or for this or about this?
No.
Yes, but they're just going to send you back here.
Yeah, this is
So
a matter.
I can't have a court date in order to rectify this with
If
with an
Tommy
attorney?
gives you a violation and you answer the violation, he will give you a summons.
Yeah, the zoning board is the proper place to handle this. If you're still in violation, you'll get a court appearance. You can go into court and you can discuss it with the judge there. If you don't like the decision of the zoning board, you can file what's called an Article 78 proceeding. But
So what are my options? What are my options at the moment?
I want to give you 60 days.
Are you granting me 60 days and then going to court with this or what?
No.
No.
The board is getting ready to vote on this application. There's 2 votes we have to do, the type of action, and then whether we're going to grant your variance or not. If we deny your variance, then you'll receive a
Notice the
from
violation.
the zoning department, and you'll have 30 days to cure, to remove the chickens, and that's what you'll have to do. So.
So if this gets denied tonight, I have 30 days after I get the notice of violation to get rid of my chickens.
That is correct.
Correct.
This can't go into another meeting? Or is there anything else I can apply for in order to keep my chickens?
No, ma'am. This is where zoning matters are decided.
Right, in 30 days, if it's not removed, if we vote no on the application, if in 30 days it's not removed, then you'd receive a summons, and with that would be a court date. So for the violation, so it would play out through that process.
So after that, when I get the summons, I can go to court? And-
Yep.
Okay.
You
All right.
can go to court and court may be adjourned.
That may
And
be.
you may have some time there, but, and you can make an argument that the information or whatever was submitted by the town is inappropriate or not applicable, or whatever argument you want to make to the judge. I don't think it'll be availing, but you may be able to find yourself some time in the
I just want
process.
to know what my options are. Right, I just want to know what my options are, because obviously this has never happened to me before. This is like, obviously the first time, so I want to know, what direction I should go in and what the next step is, et cetera.
Well, we've kind of laid out the steps for you.
Can do that. Give her advice what to do.
I don't think we're giving her advice. I think we're all empathetic to her situation.
Well,
And I think you've kind of heard what, assuming the vote goes against you, the standard process is going to ensue. So you're going to have, at some point in time, you're likely to get a violation. At some point in time, the violation will bring you to court. You always have an option to have an attorney at court. You always have an option to make whatever arguments you want to make. And you can go down your road. But we hope there's no hard feelings, because we all are empathetic. We just it can't be a free for all. There's got to be some type of, we have to enforce the code with some type of regularity that people are going to know what's going to happen. The one application which was granted before was a much bigger property. And I don't think, I for one, am not willing to go down to this kind of level of a 10,000 square foot. Okay. So.
Okay, I could look up what condo it is over the condo president.
Okay, so I think it's probably time to vote on this application.
I
So
agree.
Can we have a motion as to the type of action?
How long you think you'd be on
To be
stage?
type 2?
Second.
Mr. Carpenetto,
Aye.
Ms. DiPolito,
Hi.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion as to whether we're going to accept or deny the application?
I'll make a motion to deny the application.
Do we have a second?
I'll
Second.
second. Or,
Mr. Carpenetto,
Aye.
thank you. Ms. DiPolito,
Hi.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye. Okay, I'm sorry, ma'am, your application has been denied. As indicated, you'll be getting correspondence from the building department, and then you'll have to decide how you want to follow through.
Zoning
I'm
Department.
sorry, from the zoning department, yes. Thank you.
That's me. We'll talk.
All right, thank you. All right, we're going to go on to the septic.
Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
We're going to go on to the second application this evening. This is at 265 Route 202 LLC. This is an application for an area variance to bypass the required pre-application conferences with a technical committee for a temporary medical office use for COVID testing in the Business Historic Preservation District at 265 Route 202 Somers. Is someone here to represent the applicant?
That would be me. My name is Rebecca Volk with the law firm of Cuddy and Fader. Donato Satani, who is one of the members of the property owner, 5 Route 202 LLC, is on the call, as well as we have Rondolph Taylor, who is a physician with Healthy Therapeutic. As stated, this is an application for the property at 265 Route 202, which I believe many of you are familiar as it sits right next door to your town hall. The property's been improved with a 4,500 square foot structure. It currently has a dry cleaner and a deli. A large portion of the space has remained vacant since Chase Bank left 2 years ago. So the owner is seeking to make temporary use of this space by providing a COVID-19 testing center during this pandemic, pursuant to a lease with Healthy Therapeutics. I'm sure it goes without saying that the need for testing has increased in the last 6 weeks. The governor's revised the executive orders on testing for travelers into and out of the state. The holidays and family gatherings are causing an increase in cases. In addition to this, many employers are requiring testing before employees return to the workplace whenever symptoms are shown. So the proposed tenant, Healthy Therapeutics, is going to utilize the former Chase Bank space. We did appear before the planning board last week, which agreed to waive the site plan procedures given the time urgency and the public health situation, pandemic. And I believe you are in receipt of a letter from Surratt Dim on behalf of the planning board advising of its recommendation. So I would ask if the board has any particular questions. The doctor is able to describe the way in which the service will be provided. And we were directed to make applications to this board to waive these technical committee procedures that are required because of this zoning district.
So it's my understanding here that because this is in the business historic district, there would be other committees and boards, ARB, et cetera, open space committees maybe, that you would have to go before to have an application like this granted. But due to the nature of the application, you're asking the zoning board to waive the requirement to go to these other boards and committees so that we can get this basically approved and get things going, right? Is that my understanding?
Exactly. And I also add to that, that no physical changes are being proposed to the site. The vacant space is going to be utilized. The employees are going to be in the interior solely for the purpose of their belongings, staying out of the cold in between testing, use of the bathroom. The testing will be occurring outside in the space of the previous bank drive-up.
Okay, that was my next question. Is there going to be any changes to the outside of the structure? And there are none.
No.
Okay. No. Okay.
So the personnel are going to be by the drive-through outside?
Because there will be pre-scheduled appointments, so individuals, and Dr. Taylor can speak specifically to how those appointments are scheduled, they're going to know when somebody is arriving to have their test done.
Okay, so it's strictly done by appointment only.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. Does someone need a prescription to come in, or is this just someone calling and making an appointment they want a test done?
Basically, good evening, everybody. I'm Randy Taylor. Basically, we have 3 ways for you to make an appointment. You can go on our website and click a link, and that'll take you directly into our electronic medical record scheduler. We have a QR code that you can scan, and we also have text marks. If you text quick swab or COVID now to 72625, that'll take you into, again, a scheduler where you can schedule your appointment. So we'll know exactly when people are coming in. We're going to be very cognizant of the traffic and make sure that we're not causing a disturbance to our local neighbors or the center of town in general. So it's going to be very well controlled, and everything is pretty much online. The swabbing takes place outside. It could take place at the drive-through or in a parking space. And once the person's swabbed, we send you on your way and you get your results electronically.
How quickly, if we approve this, how quickly will you be up and operating?
We could be up and operating tomorrow. We've been operating at pop-up spots in the city, and basically we've swabbed over 350 people at this point. We do it in different ways. We do it at drive-ups, walk-ups, concierge. It's something that we do in our usual scope of practice. Most of the practitioners work in local emergency departments. So it's something that we do every day. It's just a service that we saw there was a need for it. You see a lot of people standing on lines for hours to get tests, and with this method, we're really able to get people in and out with minimal wait, and it's well controlled, and people seem to be very happy with the service.
Okay, I do have a question regarding the time frame. I'm in all favor of this, but I have one little concern in the sense of, okay, fine, people start coming in early, and I can see a bottleneck at the intersection. So what can you do to help clarify, my question regarding time frame? Does it take 2 minutes? Does it take, 5 or 10 minutes for the initial test?
If I can summarize, we had a lengthy discussion about this at the planning board. And Dr. Taylor will correct me. I believe actually obtaining the sample is roughly a 2 to 3 minute process. The intent is to space individuals out 15 minutes apart. That way you have some wiggle room. Some people are naturally come a couple minutes early. Some people come a couple minutes later. That way we won't have too much. But we also had a lengthy discussion with the planning board about appropriate parking spaces in the rear of the building, that if there does at any time develop a line, cars will be directed to park in that rear area.
So you will have some directing traffic, so this way it doesn't block 202 at the intersection there of the mouth of the shopping center?
Absolutely. We're going to have staff that's being very aware of the entrance, and if there's any issues, they're going to help direct to that back area, like we said. And literally, there'll only be 4 or 5 people coming an hour, and they're going to be spaced out with 15-minute intervals. So there really should be no opportunity for any backup. This is not a drive-up model where we're doing one of those right now in Ossining at a church. And, even then, because of the way our process is and so efficient, we really never even got close to even filling half of the parking lot. And that's with no appointments and everybody showing up. So this is going to be a different model where it's well-controlled, appointment only. So I really don't see any backup of traffic. And we'll be able to, again, put people in those designated parking spaces to also kind of alleviate that if there was any possibility of that.
What is the variance that they're asking for? What is the variance that they're asking for?
Well, the variance, or my understanding is that they're asking to get relief from the requirement in the business historic district to go to the other boards, to ARB and open space, or whatever other boards that they may be required to go to normally get an approval for this type of an operation.
It seems like that should stay within the planning board. I don't see a variance for any of it.
I understand your comment. That was the procedure that was laid out when we went in for an initial zoning review with Ms. Dim. And as I said, we already received a favorable determination from the planning board, and it was directed that we come to this board seeking this relief.
Now, how long do you expect this whole thing to last?
The answer I gave at the planning board is I'm sure we would all like this pandemic to be over sooner rather than later. The intent is the testing will be provided. The planning board has asked that we come in at a 6-month interval to check in with them and see, but we have committed that this is for only COVID testing, and it will be tied to the timeline of this pandemic.
Okay.
So we would be approving a 6-month application here, basically, and then you'd have to come back before planning board and us.
I think not. I think if the planning board were to refer them back to the zoning board for for whatever they determine may be needed at that point, I think it's in the planning board's hands after the zoning board considers the application. And as the applicant mentioned, the planning board, they met with the planning board. I know a big discussion point was the traffic. The big concern of the planning board was the traffic, and they seem to be pretty satisfied with the answers they got from the applicant.
Okay. And what are the hours of operation of this testing center?
So we're going to be doing Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and on the weekend it would be like 10 to 3.
Okay.
Has there been any feedback from the other tenants in that?
This is the building owner. No, there's been no other feedback. Just to reiterate though, in initial conversations with the doctor, it was very important to us as the building owner that we don't impede the other tenants because as we all know with the pandemic, it's been very difficult to keep any retail businesses alive. So one of our initial conversations was just, hey, this can't be the sites that we see on TV with lines down the street that would hamper other tenants' ability to do business in our center. And that's why we came up with this, every 15-minute schedule and only, a certain limit per hour so that it would be impossible to create those conditions.
And what type of signage are we talking about?
At this time, there's going to be no permanent signage added because that would require extensive review. We did discuss at the planning board that if there was any confusion about entering and going to, I believe when you look at it, this is to the left of the property, that perhaps maybe some internal directional might be needed, but that has not been required at this time. The doctor has committed with the planning board that in the instructions, when individuals make their appointments, there is going to be information on where you should go when you enter the plaza in order to keep a smooth movement of traffic.
Yeah, because they've got to enter on the east side and drive around the building and come up onto the back of the testing center. So
That's
I think
correct.
that there should be some signs anyway. I'm not selling signs, but there should be some clear signs. That is a very, very confusing place right over there. There's a lot of traffic there almost all the time, so.
If I'm not mistaken, are there one-way signs already in place over there for in and out?
That's correct.
It may be.
Yes.
Yeah, and there may be some pavement arrows as well.
That's
Yeah,
correct as well.
could be.
And Denise, we did not receive a memo from the planning board.
Yeah, I sent that to all of you after you got your meeting reminder. It was on the same email that the pictures were on for the former applicant, the previous applicant.
That was a memo from the planning board?
It was a memo
No,
from the
from her.
planning board to all of you. And I would have mailed it out. The planning board meeting was on last Wednesday, so I would have mailed it to you on the 10th.
Okay, so it's like, so it's cut and paste, it's cut and paste.
It's an attachment, a PDF.
Okay,
I could share my screen and show it to you if that helps. I have it pulled up on my computer.
No, we live around here, so.
Okay.
we-
Oh,
we
no, I
should-
meant the
We
memo.
should know about it. Oh, the memo, okay.
The memo.
So the planning board seems to be in agreement with this application and the variance request to us to bypass the other pre-application conferences with other board committees.
my biggest, I'm concerned for the other two businesses in that building. I would think that things are pretty tough as it is. And I don't know that having a COVID testing center in that close proximity, it's a relatively small building overall. I would be very concerned for them. I assume the planning board has taken that into consideration. It doesn't sound like, I guess there's been no feedback from them, which would surprise me. I would think that if I had a deli, I would probably want to ask a lot of questions. So that would be my biggest concern here.
Well,
The deli might look upon it as increased traffic, which is helping to them in most cases. The cleaner, on the other hand, he suddenly got at least 4 or 5 cars an hour. They're going to be coming into his entrance over there.
It's another way of looking at it, sure.
I mean, the way I look at it also is kind of mitigating factor is there's only going to be 4 or 5 cars per hour. It's not much in the way of traffic. Yeah. I think
as
it would
long as
be
they
a
don't wind up
story if they were
parking in
lined up.
front of the storefronts.
I think public health has to be the paramount concern. I mean,
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's a good idea and I think we ought to pass it. And we ought to get the testing started as soon as possible.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Given that it's for a limited duration of, starting at 6 months and just tying in with the pandemic in general, I think there's a need for this service in our town that we'd be doing a disservice to the community if we didn't have a local option.
Right.
I think we really should be facilitating this operation.
Yep.
Okay, so why don't we put it out to the public if there's anybody out there who wishes to speak in regard to this application? Paul, if you could just put up the phone numbers again for us. Or if there's anybody online who wishes to speak in regard to this application. So is there anybody online with us right now who would like to speak in regard to the application? Denise, you haven't gotten any objections from town board regarding this application?
No, the town, Tommy can correct me if I'm, the town board has already been made aware of this.
Of the
I
application?
think they were the first step before they even went to the planning board.
Okay. So on screen now, you'll see phone numbers. If any members of the public wish to call in regarding this application, now is your opportunity to do this. This is a public meeting, so we do welcome any comments.
As of now, I don't have anybody trying to get into the meeting, but we can keep the slide up and I'll just let them in if they try to get in, Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so maybe we should continue with our discussion. Do board members have any further comments at this point in time?
I think it's a good idea to go through the application, Beth,
Right.
and with the proviso that they do return to the planning board at some point to, have them examine it.
Yeah, from my understanding is the planning board has approved it, but they do have to come before them within, after 6 months.
Right, sure.
For a further review at that point in time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is a public health issue and,
Absolutely.
I think we step up and approve it, quite honestly.
And, I think my comment is not necessarily specifically with regard to the application, but I hope that the landlord will do everything they can to minimize any potential impacts on those other tenants. But public health, absolutely. There's lots of places you can get tested in the town of Somers. There's lots of places you could set one of these up. So if we're doing it here, I hope the landlord will do everything they can to, protect those other businesses if there are any adverse impacts.
Right. And it's in the landlord's, best interest to do that also, obviously. So, yeah.
Correct.
That is all correct. And throughout this whole pandemic, I have been working with the tenants and believe me, taking a huge financial hit along with them. So this would give us some relief.
Well, I'm glad to hear you're doing that, because not all landlords are, and that's really great to hear.
Good.
Yes.
Okay. So any further comments or from the applicant at this point in time? Nope.
I don't believe so.
Okay. Any further comments from the board?
No.
Okay, are we prepared to vote on this application?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'll take a motion as to the type of action.
Type 2.
Second.
Mr. Carpenetto,
Aye.
Ms. DiPolito,
Aye.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
And Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Can we have a motion whether we're going to grant the applicant, the application for the variance or deny it?
So moved. I move that we grant the application.
Second.
Mr. Carpenetto,
Aye.
Ms. Ippolito,
Aye.
Mr. Gio,
Aye.
Mr. Hardin,
Aye.
Mr. Lansky,
Aye.
Mr. Newman,
Aye.
Chairman Canestra.
Aye.
Thank you.
Congratulations, your application is granted. Thank you very much. Hopefully you have, much success and,
Thank you very much.
thank you for providing an important
Very much
service.
consideration.
Okay,
Thank you, all the board members. Have a good evening.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go right on to the next item on the agenda is the approval of the November 17th, 2020 minutes. Has everybody had a chance to review them?
Yes.
Yes,
Any comments, changes, issues? Nothing?
nothing.
Okay, so we're just going to approve by consensus. All in favor of approving the minutes?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Nope. Okay. Denise, the November minutes have been approved.
Thank you.
I'd like everybody also to be aware that our next meeting is the third Tuesday in January, which is January 19th, 2021. We will, of course, be on Zoom once again for the public meeting. And any further business, any other issues that we need to discuss or cover at this point in time?
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Happy,
Yes.
And
Merry
happy
Christmas,
Hanukkah.
New Year, and happy
Happy
holidays.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy holidays.
The holidays,
Happy
everyone.
holidays.
Yes. Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see everybody next month, and hopefully 2021 will be better than 2020.
Good.
Here, here, here.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.